on. That's on. And
we're on.
let's see, not yet.
We have to think of some theme music.
We're not on yet.
Okay, but still, I need to think about theme music for this eventually. Probably something you produce.
Okay, talking to your mic.
Hello.
You see that? Yeah.
Welcome.
Hold on one second. Let me turn my mic up a little bit more.
Okay.
Go ahead. Talk.
Hello. Welcome.
Yeah.
I'm here live or somewhat live with Kevin. Is this it? Are we good? Oh, I got the boss cup. Little boss.
Little boss cup.
Got the little boss cup.
Hang on.
Are we ready to go?
Second. Almost.
Okay. Well,
this is the first one, so it's sloppy.
We can vibe into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That. Okay,
you know.
so
all right. We've got coffee. We are recording. Okay. I think that I'm mostly comfortable.
You're mostly comfortable?
Mostly.
Do you need another pillow?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm good with
I'm good. I'm gonna pour coffee now, though.
Okay. Yes. So this is a case of the MonDays with Mon. I am Mon. I'm here with my best friend Kevin Mejia. He is pouring us a little bit of coffee.
Not a lot.
This is what's that?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. A little bit of coffee. So we're just talking. We're chatting, and we are sharing that with everyone around here. What's that?
I decided I don't like the lid.
Oh, okay. Maybe take off the lid.
There we go.
Okay,
all right.
There we go. So,
right,
I like it. We got a hot cup of caffeine, of Java,
Boom,
waiting for us here.
We're good. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So.
Okay, this is Kevin.
What's up, guys? Hi. All right. So how do you want to start this? What do you want to talk about?
So yeah, look. Well, give me a mic.
First things first.
First sips.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's nice.
It is nice. Can you tell me about what's in this cup?
You brought this to me.
Ooh.
This is the coffee you brought me from. Where did you get this, actually?
Is this the one from Eagle Rock? Or is this
the one that you just brought me?
Oh yes, this is the one from Eagle Rock. It is from
Cafe
de Leche. Yeah.
All right, so Cafe de Leche. It's good. I forgot what the tasting note said, but let's see here.
It was fig and clove, right? Is that what you taste?
Yeah, I can taste the clove, I think. Not so much fig. It's not as sweet. This is like a pretty classic coffee, though. Like coffee that tastes like coffee instead of coffee that tastes like other stuff.
Okay. Like how bubblegum tastes like bubblegum sometimes?
Yeah,
And it's like bubblegum flavor.
Yeah,
You're like, what the fuck is bubblegum flavor?
exactly. I feel like those are, like, that's what Dulce would love that.
Okay.
You know? So,
Make it for
yeah.
her.
Huh?
Make it for her.
I'll have to, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good. I like it.
What is your most memorable cup of coffee?
Oh, wow. Okay. This is an old cup of coffee. The company they're around still, but they're no longer called what they're called anymore. So this takes me back to like the beginning of my coffee.
Okay. Tell us about that. Let's go into your journey. I really enjoy the story. I feel like
the coffee journey or the journey?
Well, whatever journey you want to talk about. I mean, I love your story, so let's go.
All right. So I was working at InCycle at the bike shop in Pasadena, and so at the time I was like getting into coffee, but I was kind of in this weird like I like caffeine or like coffee, but I don't like caffeine because it was like weird. It gave me like weird anxiety and shit. Anyway, so I was getting into coffee, and down the street was this like coffee roasters called Jones Coffee. And so I would go down there, and they did pour overs, which is kind of like that place in Copa Vida and Pasadena were like the first ones that I started to like really go to for this stuff. So then, you know, I remember reading like dark roasts usually have less caffeine. And I thought I was just a badass and was like, oh, dark roasts are good, right? Because they're dark and they're like really abrasive and just like a forest fire in your mouth. Like an actual, it's like what it tastes like, just like,
yes,
just like burnt bread in your mouth.
That's what I've learned.
And so I would go to Jones Coffee and I would ask for like their Italian blend, or their Italian roast, and I'd ask for it to be poured over. And I remember like one of the guys there being like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "100%." You know, so
Yeah.
like that was what I thought I knew about coffee.
Okay.
So anyway, fast forward to being back in the shop. The bike shop was right there. I had a friend named Carlos, and this dude was like into coffee, and he'd always come in with his like, you know, his like tumbler of coffee. And one day, you know, he like found out that I was like getting into coffee, and he was like, "Dude, I've got this coffee for you to try." And I was like, "Okay." So he brought me this bag of coffee. It was by Suits and Knives, which used to be part of the Coffee Collab, which if you're an old LA coffee head, you now know as No Ghost Bears. So this place is like right up the street from like the Santee alleys. And I've only ever been there as No Ghost Bears, but back in the day it used to be called the Coffee Collab. And this coffee Suits and Knives, he gave me this like Ethiopia. And so at the time I was like French pressing everything because it's what I had. And like I think I had a pour over cone, like a cheap little like $5 pour over cone from from World Market. No, well they don't have those here. From World Market.
Okay.
I got it at World Market, Cost Plus World Market, and like I would pour over on that. But anyways, I was French pressing at the time a lot, and I like put this. It was an Ethiopian Suits and Knives coffee, and I put this thing in there. I remember the bag was like a little pink or something. It was like a white bag with like some pink writing on it, and I like, you know, put it in, and then I made the coffee, and I remember like sipping it and being like, "What the fuck is this?" It tastes. It was like floral berries, just like, and I feel like no other. It's weird because I don't, you know, I try not to hold on to the idea of the way that something was in the past. But this coffee, like nothing has ever matched it, and I'm sure I've tasted other, like I can think of a couple other cups of coffee. Thump in Oregon made this like, they called like their carbonic process Ethiopian, and that shit was unreal too. Just like berries. Like I love acidic coffee, so when something's just like bright and fruity and like colorful, I'm like, sign me up. Yeah. So that Suit and Knives one was like my introduction to like lighter roasts, and I was obsessed. And then I didn't drink coffee for a long time.
Why not?
Because I had like this weird panic attack.
Oh, okay.
Like drinking coffee, when I had like moved to Germany, and then I didn't drink coffee for most of the time I was there. And then like before I was leaving, I like right up the street from where the gym was. We were talking about this yesterday, like train station gym, and then Oktoberfest was right here. Yeah. Well, like in between that was this like coffee roaster guy, Gagun Gabe, and the guy was like super quiet and like timid, but really nice. And they would do like jazz nights and coffee, and he had like his roasting machine in a really small building. And then he would like, I started going in there, and he would like, "You should try this. You should try that." And then I like started drinking coffee again like that.
Does Germany have a big coffee culture?
It's decent. There's like, so I lived in Munich, and Munich had like, so the really big coffee shop that had like a ton of different stuff is called Fitz, Vits, Fitz. And there was a guy there. Funny story about this guy Simon too. We saw him like at the first gig I went to in Germany. There was this guy there, and he was on the train when we were on our way to the shop. And then when I went to the shop, he's like, "Oh, I saw you on the train. You were on the way to a concert, I think. You guys look like you were having a lot of fun." It was like me and my friend Elliot. And then, so I went into Fitz, and they did like AeroPress coffee, pour over coffee, espresso, like really big coffee shop. There's another really popular one called Man versus Machine. And then there's this really small one, Gagun Gab. And that small one was my favorite one because like it was so, like Fitz was a roaster, Gagun Gabe was a roaster, and I think Man versus Machine was a roaster. So those are the main three that I saw. And then, you know, like there's other coffee shops, but it's always like trash coffee. Not trash, it's just like European coffee culture. I feel like if it's not like third wave coffee culture, it's like, it's shit, like espresso, like Italian shit, like out of the mocha pot or whatever. And I'm not putting down. I'm not putting down Italian. I'm not putting down like Italian coffee whatsoever. I'm just like, you know, like a lot of pre-ground coffee, and it's fine. It's fine. It's just not. It's like what we, you know, like people like my family does like only like dehydrated like instant coffee.
Oh, okay,
you know,
yeah.
and then like when you go here, like the culture here is like Starbucks. It's whatever. It's just what's like around. You know, so people don't. They're not gonna go out of their way.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd say that it's growing, especially in the friends that I know. They're really down for coffee culture. I mean, probably a mix, like you and a couple of people. They got the whole coffee bar set up.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's fun. But it's like beer, right? It's like how long beer took a long time to take off, I think, too. And then you know, coffee's kind of the same. But coffee's always been around too. And there's so many. I think like in this area, like San Gabriel Valley, it's not so big, but that's because like who lives in the suburbs? Moms and shit.
Yeah.
You know, like how many moms are gonna want to tamp their espresso at home or care about a pour? They just want their Starbucks.
That's true. But I mean, I'd still say that there are a good amount of roasters around here. Yeah or no? Am I making that up?
Kinda, I guess. Yeah, I mean, like there's like unincorporated. There's not San Gabriel Valley, but like a really classic roastery in the area is Clutch Coffee. They're really like old in the game, and their first location I think is San Dimas.
Oh, okay.
And they're like so like the coffee shop in Arcadia, they carry Clutch Coffee. The coffee shop here in Monrovia.
I think I've seen.
It's San Francisco. It's a San Francisco company. It's Ritual.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've seen that in the kitchen too. You're thinking about a roastery or a coffee shop. What is it?
Yeah. This is like.
Is this public?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I guess. I don't know. Yeah. There's talk of possibly doing a shop. Not possibly. I think it's like really moving along. Actually, I have a friend. 2 friends. One's a client. The other one's already my business partner, and we're thinking about doing something with coffee. So yeah, I think I want to roast because ultimately, like, if we do a coffee shop, it's great. But if we only did a coffee shop, it would mean that like I would outsource good coffee from some company that I really, really like, you know, which I would do for sure. And that would mean that I only need to focus on like how I want to serve coffee. Do I want to pour it over? Do I want to make sure, do I want to have drip coffee? Do I only want to have espresso? We did talk about that actually, and somebody was like, we should do a coffee shop that just only does espresso. And I was like, why? He's like, because who does that? And I'm like, that's true, we'll make it unique. But I feel like I have such a, like, I think I have a big, like I really want to do like pour over and you know, even like just a regular drip, like a batch brew, you can make those really good, you know?
Yeah, I've had really good drip.
So I think it's still worth it. Plus, you know, like what if someone wants a red eye?
I know, seriously.
If you want a red eye, you gotta have coffee and espresso.
Not just about espresso. Okay, so I know you wouldn't probably name a coffee after you. I mean, you might, but your blend. What would your blend?
It probably wouldn't be a blend.
Or okay.
We should make that distinction.
Sorry, I don't.
It would be single.
Okay, teach me about things.
It would probably be a single origin.
Okay.
It would probably be a single origin. So that means that I would source fair trade coffee from a single region or a single farmer specifically.
Okay.
Which is like one of the like, you know, I don't know, we'll call it like virtues of like third wave coffee, which is like, you know, farmer to the roaster.
Okay.
Right? There's no like middleman. So that's how you get like fair trade value for the coffee. You might buy up like a whole lot of a season, you know, and like that's how these farmers like make their money and stuff. So the coffee lover in me and like what I typically tend to like go for says it's probably gonna be like an African, you know, bean, probably Ethiopian, because those tend to be my favorites. However, the Central American heritage in me says make it a Honduras because it's where my family's from.
Right.
So, and I've also had some bitchin' Honduran coffees, like stuff that's just like straight oranges in your mouth.
Okay.
So it could go either way. I don't know. And then that's also going to depend on how it gets roasted, and there's so much like to go into it still.
Okay. I have a couple of questions, so you might have to take me into a deep dive. If you want to veer off of coffee, we can do that because I know you have a lot of other things to talk about.
No, well, this is your podcast.
Okay,
We can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
But you're my guest, so I want to talk about everything you want to talk about. How does coffee from different countries differ? Is it based on the cherries?
Yeah. So do people know that, right?
Okay, let's
the coffee
let's
bean.
backtrack.
The coffee bean is not a bean; it's a cherry
Pit.
seed. Yeah, pit. It's a cherry pit. Yeah, exactly. So I was just talking about this yesterday to Sam. He was like, "Why does it taste different?" Right. So I'm probably not the best person to answer this question because I'm just getting into that part of it.
You talk to the public.
Yeah, but this is what I understand is first, it's gonna be like what variety of cherry it is, right? So like you have heard probably like Sumatra, Robusta, or Robusto, and like a couple of other names. I think those are the genus of the plant itself, of the cherry, the coffee cherry.
Got that.
And then between region to region, right, it's going to be like the nutrients that are in the dirt. So this now, like, this is super sciencey. Yeah, this gets like super deep. It's like Ethiopia, right, might have like certain, a certain structure in the soil that the plants suck up, and that will affect the flavor of the cherry and consequently the bean. And then like Honduras is gonna have another one, right? And then on top of that is how do they process the cherry to get the bean out? So
how do they process it?
They have so many different ones that I don't even understand yet. Okay. So like you'll see some that say like washed process,
right?
And then there's natural process, right? So like I know I can tell you for sure, like on an Ethiopian, right? If you see like a natural processed Ethiopian, that's usually going to give you a lot more like berry, more acidic flavors and like floral vibes. If you get a washed process, it's usually going to be a little bit more of a balanced cup.
Okay. What does that mean?
So like it's going to be like on the sweeter side. Like it's not going to be such an acid bomb.
Okay.
Where you're like it's tart. And then like it'll have more sweetness to it when it's washed. I don't know why really yet. And then like you'll also see things like bourbon process, honey process, all kinds of different like processes to like process the cherries. And then it's like the elevation that it grows at changes it. Like there's so much research that I still have to do in terms of like sourcing beans and high quality beans and like fair trade beans, and those are just green. They're not even ready to go. Then you can affect the flavor of the green bean by roasting it, right? And so that's gonna go back to that whole thing of like, I was talking about dark roast and light roast and like the burnt, forest fire in my mouth. Yeah. It's like the best analogy that I've heard is it's like toasting bread. If you don't toast bread for that long, it still tastes like the bread. If you toast your bread for a really long time, then it tastes more like the charred outside that you get. Like you get that burnt carbon, forest fire in your mouth flavor. So that's the same with coffee. But, so like then, you start roasting and then that means you have to start cupping. So like you might roast for an hour and then you'll pull a batch out at an hour. Make a cup of coffee, taste it, and then you'll wait an hour and 10 minutes. Pull a batch, make a cup of coffee, an hour 15 or whatever, right?
Science.
So now you're like trying to find your parameters for how long you're gonna roast to get what you want in batches.
Okay.
And it's the same thing with like, then you gotta make your coffee, and then you might mess it up by having bad water.
Yep.
So,
okay, I heard you say this yesterday. What are the four, virtues?
Oh no! This was a joke. This was a joke. This was a joke.
But it made sense.
Well, cause Sam was like, oh, he wants to call it something Japanese, and then somebody had asked him why Japanese, and he's like, because it's cool, and like people like it. And I was just like, okay, sure.
Like the art of making tea.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
The art of the Tao of tea.
The Tao of tea.
So he was saying the Tao of tea, and then I was like, we can play on Buddhism. That's fine. Here are the Four Noble Truths of Coffee.
Okay, Four Noble Truths.
Which is
of
Buddhism,
coffee.
not Taoism. I know, but we're just gonna
we're
stick
gonna
to,
play
like,
on that. Okay.
East Asian, religions and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
please, no one get offended.
yeah. So no. So the Four Noble Truths of Coffee were, what did I say they were? It was like high quality water.
Yes.
So like you have to have not tap water.
Okay.
It's got to be like alkaline water. Will affect the flavor of your coffee. So water. I didn't even say that. I don't think. Maybe it was water, and then I said temperature. So you got to get your temperature right. You got to have your grind size right, and then technique.
Technique, yes.
Right. So technique meaning like if you're doing a V60, like you should have, you should know how to do your circles.
Yes.
One of our friends was like, you go counterclockwise. And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, weird. And I was like, why do you go clockwise? And then I posted a like thing of like a boomerang of me still doing a pour over, and he's like, now you're throwing me off with the boomerang because I don't know if you're going this way or that way. So, I mean, it doesn't matter, I don't think, to go clockwise, but you should be able to do this, right? And like have a decent pour rate, blah, blah, blah. If you're gonna espresso, like your temp should be good. My temp is shit right now. I'm just getting into espresso, so I'm learning that. Your grind size, that is subjective to the coffee.
Right.
Like, I might have my grinder at, we're gonna use an arbitrary number of like 15 for a coffee, and it's for the Chemex, and I might get another coffee, but it tastes like shit at 15, so I might have to like up, or it pours like not in a good time, right? Like they say like a V60 should pour through in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's taking longer, I should probably go coarser to have it pour through. If it's taking too little time, then go finer, and that will affect the flavor of the coffee, is how long it's in contact with the water. The water's in contact with the bean. Okay. So, I don't know. Where does it end?
I know, seriously. Okay, so you know me, I'm not a big, not a big person on coffee. I'm still learning. I'm still a beginner. For those that don't know, I did not drink coffee prior to Kevin. My first cup of coffee, I believe, was from Dunkin' Donuts, and it was after a night of partying, and I had to go work, and I was like, well, coffee has caffeine. I need to drink coffee, and I put a shit ton of Splenda in it, and it was disgusting. But it got me through that day, and then since then, I hadn't really drank coffee. I would tell people I drank coffee maybe 1 cup a year. But then living with Kevin, he loves coffee, so he'd just be like, here, try this, and I was like, oh, coffee actually tastes good. It doesn't taste like shit. So yeah, I'm still learning, but what would you tell someone who wants to, I guess, get into coffee? What would be the first pieces of equipment they should buy, other than a Mr. Coffee?
Equipment?
Yeah. I guess not equipment, pieces of, I don't know. What would you call that?
So I mean, this is tough because this is a loaded question.
Okay, sorry, let's backtrack.
No,
what would
fine.
be the easiest, I guess, coffee maker to get? Like, because you said you started with a French press, right?
Which a lot of people do, right? A lot of people will do French press.
What makes a French press so, I guess, easy to
accessible?
use? Yeah,
it's
accessible.
cheap. It's like, you can go, like, the French press, which is like the Bodum one, that's like, I don't know if it's the original French press. I think they claim it. But Bodum makes the French press, and you can buy that thing for $30. Pro tip: don't buy it for $30. Go to Marshall's or something. And they have the Bodum French press there for probably $10.
Okay.
So you can go get it for $10 or whatever. You don't have to buy a super expensive one. Just keep it clean, and I mean, really, like, when I think of myself then, like, I know I had some really amazing, it's funny because like the French press now, I'm like, fuck that thing. Because it's so easy to scorch your coffee and burn it and fuck it up, I think. But if you're really patient with it, like, you just need your kettle, bottled water will work just fine
Okay.
if you want to, right? So you don't even have to buy like I installed. I was tired of buying water to like put into our water machine, so I was like,
which I gave them.
so I was like, I want a reverse osmosis system,
Yes.
and it doubled as my source for good quality
Yeah.
water for coffee.
Mhm.
So really, my penchant for laziness also led to me getting better water. So anyway, bottled water, your kettle, right? You can just throw it on the stove. You don't need it, or if you have like just an electric boiler thingy, you know. And then boil your water. Wait like a minute.
Yes.
Don't put it in straight off the boil. If you have to get your coffee pre-ground, fine. But honestly, like I spent $100 on a conical burr grinder from OXO, and that thing did great for the past like year. I just upgraded to something ridiculous, but it's great.
Okay.
And then yeah, just pour it in, you know, wait your 4 minutes exactly, and then push down and pour that shit out, and you'll probably have like pretty solid coffee as long as your beans are fresh, you grind them fresh, and you used good water. The likelihood is that you're gonna have a much better cup of coffee than you would from Starbucks.
Mhm.
You know, because
Not
Starbucks,
hating on Starbucks.
they just do what they do.
Yeah.
They just do what they do, and that's what they're known for. And they, you know, they're not a specialty coffee shop.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think like if someone's just trying to get into good coffee,
Mhm.
the best place to start, like if they just want to find out, like, all right, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Right. Find any like third wave coffee shop, right? Specifically third wave coffee shop.
What does that mean?
There's, you know, there's like the first wave of coffee, which is just coffee, and then the second wave is like specialty coffee, like,
Okay.
and then third wave is like now you're adding like fair trade and
Okay. Okay.
craft. Third wave coffee is craft coffee.
Gotcha.
Craft beer,
Okay.
craft coffee, third wave
Gotcha.
coffee.
Okay. Okay.
And then now they're saying like the fourth wave, which is like the fourth wave is like you care about the science. So like you care about
Mhm.
the pH levels of the water and
Okay.
like all that. So it's getting more and more. So anyway, third wave coffee or like a specialty coffee shop that, you know, sources fair trade, single origin, you know, roasts. Try a light roast from that shop. See if they have pour overs. Like if the coffee shop has pour overs, the likelihood is it's a third wave shop.
Mhm.
If they, you know, like one of my telltale signs for like a really ballin' ass coffee shop is like I'll walk in and the espresso machine is a La Marzocco.
Yeah.
Not knocking.
I know.
I'm not knocking the other like La Speziale or like any of that other stuff. You know, like those are all great machines, I'm sure. But like I feel like the best espressos I have ever gotten have been from a coffee shop that's got a La Marzocco at them. You know, I want one at home. It's just
Yeah, I
like
know.
that's the fucking one.
Okay,
So
I get that.
you see that there, like get yourself, you know, most people don't like straight espresso shots, but like get yourself like an Americano so that you can actually taste the espresso. If you're a latte person, that's great. I'm like a no milk, no sugar kind of person.
Mhm.
Like I want to taste my coffee.
Yeah.
And it's whatever people want to make of their coffee. Like as long as, I think if you start with like a good base, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Like if you add milk to it and it's not flavored milk and you're still getting, you're still gonna get like the berries and the floralness through the milk
Mhm.
after you've made a latte, I
Yeah.
think, as long as the coffee is good coffee.
Because there's oils, right, in the coffee.
Correct. Yeah, but also like an espresso shot is so strong, like the flavor is so like in your face that it's gonna punch through the milk anyway.
Gotcha.
As long as you're not adding extra stuff to it.
Cool.
I think.
I feel like I learned a lot, even though I have been living with you or had been living with you, and yeah, you've taken me through a coffee journey. It's been great.
Just now?
Just now too. Yeah, it's like because I feel like every time it's just like, okay, try this cold brew because you don't really like coffee, but this is a little bit more tame. And I'm just like, okay, I like cold brew. And then now it's like, try these. You can taste the floral hints. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
You're taking me through a coffee journey.
Yeah,
Just now, too.
I feel like, and it's fun. I was just talking about this to you yesterday. I think it's like we were on the way to the gym. I was like, I've been doing this like. I feel like I'm still just scratching the surface, even though like I've been caring about coffee in this way for like 8 or something years. I don't know how long now, but like I still am like I don't know anything about anything. I don't think, but it's also like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I think a little bit, like it's I know more than most people.
Right.
And now it's like I'm like comparing it, I guess, to like the people that I learned from.
Right.
And it's like I'm like I don't know. We do jujitsu, so I would say I'm like I don't want to say purple belt. I don't know.
You might be a purple. Well, see, that's the thing. I would say that in most of the things that you do, you are probably a purple belt in most things. Yeah, in most things. I feel like your life in general is very much so purple belt life because I always tell you this, like you are good at a lot of things, but you haven't chosen one thing to master.
Which is like, it could play against me, right? Like I was just talking to Ben about this and it was like, it's like a double-edged sword. Like it's cool because you do a lot of stuff, but it might play against you because you might never achieve greatness. I don't really.
Do you care?
No, like I'm not. That's one of those things. It's like moving the goalposts, right? So like, when is enough?
Right.
So like, will you ever be happy if you're constantly chasing this like arbitrary thing? So yeah, I'm happy learning anything and everything about the things that I want to be doing. Like I wanted to woodwork, I started woodworking.
Yeah.
I wanted to start doing coffee. My ass spent a shitload of money on coffee shit.
Lots of coffees that got thrown down the sink because they taste like diesel.
Yeah. That's been the whole like past week.
Yeah.
Since I've started doing the espresso thing.
I tried some gasoline this week.
Shit coffee. So yeah, and like certain things take the back burner sometimes, I guess, but that's okay. I don't care. Like they still like become part of my life, I think, in some way. Like there's still music stuff. There's still music stuff sitting around that I use. And
that's the thing. You pull it out every so often, and it's like, I didn't know you did that. And you're like, yeah, I did that way back when, and then you're still really good at it.
Do you remember when you played the flute and I played drums?
So yes. The only music that I had with an accompaniment from my flute playing days was Christmas music, and this was in the middle of I think summer, and Dulce comes home and she like
no oh wait
we were in the garage.
We also did the Lion King.
Oh right, I did find the Lion King.
We did the Lion King, and then but that wasn't the only time too. We also did Autumn Leaves accompanied with the guitar. Yeah, I had the sheet music. And you played the lead, and then I played the chords.
Gotcha, that was fun.
I think I have that recording.
Okay, we'll have to do that. Maybe that could be our intro music.
Autumn Leaves?
Maybe.
Dang, that's balling.
That would be fun.
Really
I don't know if we need a copyright for that.
I'll have to dig it up.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Think it's anyone who knows.
If it's public domain, then probably not.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
But we also recorded it, so I think it's okay.
Okay, I hope so.
So it's an original recording.
Okay, maybe. If that works, that could be the intro music.
Yeah.
A very raw. Novice and raw.
Yeah. It's raw. We recorded it on a phone for sure. It was not like this.
Definitely. I just remember playing. It was like Frosty the Snowman or something in the garage. That's the one I remember.
Sounds like. What does that sound like?
Frosty the Snowman.
Oh.
I'm like, what is the rest?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the only music that I could find on a whim. And then you improvised the drum solo for Lion King.
I just thought, like the whole part as it's like building up, I just feel like
yeah.
Like you just have to like crescendo, go loud.
It was.
That was it. Yeah, that was fun, man.
Playing music is fun.
It is. I don't know why you gave it up.
I still play.
Do you?
Well,
Have you been playing?
No, I've been. There's something that I've told myself is there's something that I want to improve every day on, and for a while it was playing ukulele every day. But then because I'm going to Portugal, it's been studying Portuguese every day. So that's what my one thing a day has been.
Nice. But you were already practicing Portuguese.
I was, but now I'm a little bit more concentrated on, rather than splitting it into two, where I spend some time doing ukulele, spend some time doing Portuguese. I've taken both of those sections and put it into Portuguese.
Got it.
Still not that great, but working on it.
I kind of like, I wish I was a little bit, I don't want to say disciplined. I wish I was more tactical with the way that I like learn things. I think it's like woodworking, right?
Yeah.
Maybe should have been like, I want to spend today learning how to saw in a square straight line, you know? But it was more like, I'm gonna build this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And then I just like build the thing, and then I fuck it up while I'm building it, and then it's like I learn to fix my mistakes while I'm building it, and then it's like if something comes up, then I'll work on it. But there was a day I remember that I was like, I'm gonna learn how to do dovetails, and so I'm gonna practice sawing and like marking and laying out and like doing this thing. And it's funny because like music wise, right? Like music is, I think with anything and everything that I do, it's like art. Like coffee is art, woodworking is art, music is art and important to me. And so like with music, you know, like you studied music.
I was just gonna say that you're self-taught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's my method of learning was like, I'm gonna learn other people's songs, and it like taught me, you know, like finger technique and like pressing the frets down properly and like bark, all the stuff that like people struggle with. And I just started to do it. And then when I like hit college and I was like, I want to major in music. I fucking hated it. Like being in academia and doing it was so miserable because it was like, learn this like song, learn to sight read and like learn the rules and all that, and it like kind of sucked the art out for me a little bit. I wouldn't
say you're a rules guy.
It's just fun. No, but like don't get me wrong, because there's also like so many musicians that I love and respect that they're like, no, learn the rules, but then like you learn to manipulate them, right? And it's funny because I can talk some like music theory.
Yeah, you love music theory.
Enough to get in trouble. Right, not enough to actually be like, yeah, the 7 of A.
You know more
like,
music theory than I do.
Probably not. And so like, it's the same thing with like anything else. Is I just kind of started doing it, but I'm not so like, I need to practice this thing today for an hour, right?
Yeah.
So like I was taking guitar lessons, and then like I didn't want to like I would take a guitar lesson and I want to like do all my learning in the lesson. I don't want to do homework.
Right.
I just like, when I want to play, I want to play. I don't want to have to schedule to play. It's the same thing with like woodworking, where like, you know, we were saying that like if I started doing it for work, it would be like not enjoyable because now I have to do it. And you know, this could be the same thing with coffee. I don't know, but I think that like, you know, with coffee, it's one of those things that like, one thing I love doing is sharing what I love with other people. I do it to everybody. Like, you want to come saw some fucking wood. Yeah. You want to play guitar? I have guitars. Yeah. You know, come do it. You want coffee? I'll make you coffee. Yeah. You know, so like this is gonna be like, or like even coaching, right? Like training is like I get to like give you a little piece of what I know, and you get to like take that home and use it. So coffee is kind of similar because it's like, I get to just like always impart this like tasty beverage that like is a beautiful start to your day. Like I love the ritual of making coffee in the morning, and that's like this like it has nothing to do with caffeine. It has everything to do with weighing it, measuring it, and like doing it every single morning, and it's usually like on point.
It's a great way to start the morning.
You said that.
Yeah, I know. So I'm visiting, and I haven't had coffee since I've moved back home with my family, and having coffee with Kevin or making coffee in the morning was just so nice to start off the morning on the very first few days that I was back.
Yeah.
It's just
The
nice.
old grinder was still there.
Yes,
I don't think
the
you've
old
made coffee since
I
the new
haven't.
grinder made it in.
But it's
Yeah.
because you made me coffee.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you already knew how to use that, and then you AeroPress the coffee. So yeah, that was funny.
That's the only
But you
thing I know
forgot.
how to
You
do
like
now.
called
I
out.
know.
You're like, how much? What do I need?
I know. I just stared at everything. I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, that ritual, man, in the morning. Like I remember when I was living in Pasadena. This is like 6 years ago now. And I was working at maybe I wasn't working at Equinox anymore. Bleep that out. And like every morning, like I remember. This is super hipster of me, but I remember like I took a picture. I'm pretty sure I can pull this up on Instagram too. It's like having an analog ass morning, you know. So like vinyl, like analog media, right? And I had like an actual book with me, and like I had like poured over some coffee.
You are an
And
hipster.
my morning was like vinyl, a book, and coffee, and I was like, fuck yes, this is alive right now.
Yeah.
Like this is good. You know? And maybe like I did some stretching or something afterwards. I don't know, but like that, those like moments, like these little tiny like moments and days, where like I just wake up, and sometimes like I don't do it anymore. Like I don't think I put music on in the morning while I'm making coffee in a while.
Do it sometimes.
Yeah,
You did it
usually
once when I was here.
Like a Sunday morning
Yeah.
is usually good. I used to when I was living in Germany. I like it was like you're abroad for so long, and you're like, fuck, I miss American shit. So like Elliot and I would do like bluegrass and breakfast on Sunday morning. So we would like not like ridiculous bluegrass, but like very super chill, like just folky Western music, and we would like have breakfast in the mornings, and it was the shit.
That's
and
awesome.
We would make coffee.
That's nice.
I
feel like having a morning ritual, it's been so nice.
Yeah, it is for sure. It kind of, like right now I'm like experiencing this like really weird in between where like I had to arrange my schedule so that I'm only working like from 8:30 onward, like later in the day, and I wake up like at 7, so I have like an hour and a half to make coffee. And I remember like always waking up like 2 hours before I had to do anything so that I could make coffee, sit down, and like watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I remember those days.
Like that's what I've watched the show 20 times through probably while sipping on coffee.
Yeah.
So, but now like I'm, kind of doing like earlier and earlier again. So I'm having to like sleep earlier and earlier so that I can wake up earlier and earlier so that I can still have coffee and like sit down with my cup of coffee instead of like drinking it on the way.
Yeah.
Like I hate drinking something on the way to work or like eating on the I just don't fucking do it. Like I'd rather just go straight to work at that point and then come back and have my coffee,
Because you want to enjoy it.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean the those first world problems.
I know.
I just
well
I'll be damned if I have to drink my coffee on the road.
Hey, we can afford those luxuries, and I think I need to head out. I'm trying to catch a train back to Philly. Got to make sure I don't miss my flight. So before we close it out, Kevin, tell everyone your social media handles.
Oh man, whoa, this is official. It's at Kev, Kev, Mejia, Mejia, except the E is a 3.
Yes.
So Kev, M3JIA, Kev Mejia. You can also follow the gym, I guess, at 1AFit, number 1 letter A fit. And come catch, I don't know, a jiu-jitsu class at school.
Oh yeah, that's what you do too.
I have to coach today at noon, and on Thursdays at noon, and then coach regular classes, fitness classes, strength and conditioning classes.
Yeah, we got all the classes.
All the stuff.
And then if you were to ask one question for the next guest to answer, what question would you ask of him, her, them?
God, I almost almost feel like it should be a coffee question. Like,
Okay.
what's your favorite coffee? But maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to be like,
We'll cut
oh,
out
I
this
got it. Cookies or ice cream?
Cookies or ice cream? Okay, good question.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
all.
answer that.
Okay,
right now
yeah.
for
Tell
myself.
me.
Ice cream, without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree.
Ice cream.
What kind?
this is
Just
deep.
quick.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's gonna be probably cake batter ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Cake batter ice cream, cookie dough, brownies.
Yep.
We're done.
Yep.
That's
Done.
it.
Okay.
Textures.
Cool. Textures. The juxtaposition. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Well, we gotta cut it out.
All
This was what is this called? A Case of the MonDays with your host Mon.
Oh, is that my scale?
Perfect timing. Should I turn
Thank
this
you.
off?
Yeah.
Whoa, we did 45.